Hi, Professor.
Hi there, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm so tired, but I'm good.
We're in the same boat.
Doing?
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Nila. Ooh. We're almost there, you guys. Do you have a bunch of stuff for other classes? How are your other classes? Crazy or normal?
It's already normal.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't consider it as crazy anymore.
I still do. I can't get over it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's good for you though. You're almost done.
Well, yeah, it's true. It's the last week this is where the only thing that I personally as a teacher don't like about the no due date is there's going to be a lot of stuff to grade after everything is due. So I'm trying to save some energy for that finals week. Because that's when I'll be grading. Hey, Nadia.
Hello.
I see is here. Hi, Sadaf. Raf is here too. Hi, you guys.
Oh my God, I just go crazy with my son. He's so messy. He is so messy. Like yesterday, he just like did his homework on my desk.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I hate it.
Do you think that's just boys? My sister thinks boys are just messy and girls are neater. Do you have an opinion?
No, I think both of them are messy.
Fair enough. Yeah, I tell her I think it's just
No matter how much I teach them,
Yeah.
it's like when I see like just like they have to,
Yeah.
they're like dressing up, you know, the clothes is gotta be on the ground and I hate it.
Yeah.
Everything is gotta be messy and I hate it. And it's been already years. I'm keep teaching them, please. Just put it in the laundry room.
Yeah.
Keep it clean. Done. You're just like done with the stuff. Clean the table after you. It's like
just chuck it. Yeah, yeah. I always tease my sister. I'm like, I think Amy, I think you just say that because she only has 3 boys, and I'm like, you. So I think she just thinks.
She's lucky. She doesn't have a girl.
Hello, Professor. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Oh God, I know. I mean, I don't know from my own, but just being around to helping with the nephews, I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was the 4-year-olds. Now he's 4 years old. Yesterday was his birthday, so it was a very exciting day. You know, very exciting.
Did you guys have fun?
Yeah, we had a good day.
Yay.
It was good. All right. Small group so far. We'll wait another 2 or 3 minutes and then see who comes. But I can at least check in a little bit. Hey, Katima's coming in. How's the final project going? Are you thinking about it yet or not yet? Or any ideas or questions about the final project for this class?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I want to ask about the format of writing.
Yes.
Is it, do you have any idea, a special format or no? Because
no. Oh, go ahead, Rafi. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Because yesterday I saw, I think we must do 5 items. I'm not sure, maybe I mistake. I'm wondering, should we write anything on the for example, in the 1 page? I know it's not enough 1 page, or should I separate?
I know. Yeah, I know. So yeah. So do you need like, does section 1 page, section 2 1 page? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, don't worry. I'm not too worried about the structure of this one because, like I said, for the narrative assignment, I was very interested in the structure. For this one, I want you to really practice these skills. So even, I think what I said in the document too is, even if you just put a header, right? Even if you just say section 1, or if you want to call, you know, if you want to write your own header to say the power of hyperfocus. And again, like in the book, right? Headers mean, you know, it's either the words are in bold by themselves on their own line. Sometimes he'll put a header in the middle of the page, sometimes on the left side of the page. So you, if you want, I mean, I'd suggest look at the book and just try playing around with those headers. Because again, my goal for this is to really prepare you for W340 or English 300, where you will learn the structure of a research essay. These skills that I'm helping you practice will get you ready to do that. And that's where the organization will be really, you know, kind of the most important thing, if you know what I'm saying, Rafi.
Okay, I got it.
Dear Professor, my question is about what about the summarize? Because the summarize, we must be write the full paragraph. But here is the, for example, the scholar focusing. It has 3 types. If it's possible to write a header to explain and more clearly from 3 type of the scatter focus, we can do from the summarize paragraph that.
Which one? Which section? I'm so sorry. This one. Summarize.
Paraphrasing. But yes, summarizing, yes.
Number 4 or section 4 or section 2 here, Samira? Oh, scatter
Section,
focus. You were talking about scatter
yes.
focus. Okay, and is your question that the summary will be, does it feel like 400 words is too long or too short?
No. It's my question as my question about the structure. We can use it from the summarize header.
Yes, exactly. And today, Samira, today is all about summarizing, right? Last week was all about paraphrasing, and we can answer some more questions about that if we need. But today I've got example summaries I wanted to show you. Today's all about summarizing. So basically, the short answer is probably your summary will be maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs, right? You don't need to worry about doing anything too advanced. Just keep it 1 or 2 paragraphs. Even if it's one long 400 word paragraph, that's okay with me. But really, that's the short answer. And the long answer is we're going to spend the whole class looking at examples and talking about it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, please.
So I was doing the paper, and you know, because you know that every chapter, whatever the pages we have a different sections. So
yes,
I just like kind of separated the same way. So I put the title and then the summary, the title and then the summary. Is that a right format or?
It sounds good. It's that to me. That sounds right. I mean, that sounds kind of like what I had in mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to, if you have it on your computer, I can look at it real quick. I've got not, you know, I don't have examples from you guys right now. I've got examples from other.
I'm going to share my screen. Can I?
Yeah, let me change the settings here. I think, hold on. Oh, I need to stop sharing. Hold on. So you'll see my face all big. Hold on 1 second here. I think this might be our crew, so we'll get started in just a moment. Who can share? Oh, it's already, yeah, you could have done it right now. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think this is the.
Yeah.
So this is what I have. So basically, you know, like for the explanation, like the 3 styles of like the scatter focus.
Yeah.
So I did kind of this, like the capture mode, and then
Yeah.
you know, the crunching mode.
Yeah.
Then, you know, over here, I have like the summarizing for 212 to 215, right? So I put like the creating a focus ritual.
Cool.
And I put the summary and then the notice and then the summary and then the power of managing your attentional well. So the summary, but I don't know.
Great. No, I think Susanna, thank you so much for sharing. Susanna, and if you're watching the recording or if you're here in the class or you're watching the recording, these are great examples, right? Susanna's just doing, you see again, when I say headers, I mean, there it says section 5 response. Susanna's got that in bold and off to the left-hand side. Then higher up, she's got the power of managing. And right now she just bolded it, right? So honestly, I don't, even when I teach the transfer level writing class, I don't really teach students, oh, there's only one way to do headers, because honestly, every teacher will have their own preference, right? Do they like something that's in the center of the page? Do they like it on the left of the page? Some teachers like students to underline it. You know what I mean? There's all these different ways that you can do it. So that's why I don't want to teach you one specific way that you must do it. But just like Susanna was showing us, right? Like look at the examples in Hyperfocus, you know, review the video that we just was recorded with Susanna's example, and just play around with it. Do you know what I mean? Like try it, because I think that's the best place to start playing around with the structure for some of that stuff. Thank you.
I have another question.
Of course.
So the summary, usually it's supposed to be like short, right? Like in a couple of sentences. So, but, or am I not right?
Well, we'll talk about it. Please continue. I'm just thinking, ooh, I'm happy with the lesson that I have ready for us today, because your question, Samira's question, it sounds like this is something the class is thinking about. So yeah, so are you thinking how much is too much, or how long is too long, or how short is too short?
Yes, and I like the format. I was like not sure if it's right, because you know, when I was like kind of, you know, taking like the key points out, you know, and it was already like more than like the size, I don't know, and it was like kind of big, like more than a paragraph, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, is that right, or is it not?
Yeah, well, I'll look at it. I mean, we'll look at the examples today. And like I said, I really believe the lesson, the activity that I've got for us today is going to help. I just think sometimes at a certain point, students just need to see some kind of example. So that's what I've got. And of course, it just depends. It depends. That's all I want to say. So I'll start sharing my screen again. Once again, thank you to Susanna for sharing her example. Good. Just to, if you want to see a format, like if you're nervous, if you looked at Susanna's format there, I'm saying good for me. That's totally good, right? And I think the last thing I'd say about the formatting is, remember, when you go to W340 or 300, some teachers will have very strong feelings about how the style should be, what it should look like. So just make sure you ask. Do you know what I mean? Like, where do you want the headers? Should they be bold? Because, like I said, I wish I could tell you, like, learn one style and it will work for every class. But there's so many different styles and people have very strong opinions. So it's best to just kind of learn the basic skills for these type of headers, and then just ask your teacher for the specific class. Nasima said hi in the chat. Hi, Nasima. We'll get started here. Fauzia, I see your little blue hand. What's up?
Yes, Professor, I have a question about summary also.
Please.
In the summary from the page 214 to 215,
Yes.
like the Susanna wrote about the summary of these pages separately of each of the headers.
Yeah.
We can write the summary all of the header together.
Let's do the activity. Let's do the activity that I have for
Okay.
yeah, and let's talk about that after I show you examples. What, Susan?
I did separated them because that was one of the reasons I was so confused. I was like, if I connect all of them together, I don't know if it's gonna be a right format for the summary.
Totally.
So that's why I just like put, you know, the kind of.
Totally. Also, it looks like just from, I've been doing, I was a student for so long, and then I've been teaching for long enough now that when I saw Susanna's example, I thought it did look like, oh, like Susanna's organized it in a way that makes sense for her, which is a great way to do it the first draft, right? Or as you're taking notes and as you're building your document. Oh my God, you guys, when I was writing like my master's, I have 2 master's theses, you know, they're each like 80 pages. I mean, the first draft's like 200 pages, you know, because I've just got paragraphs over here and like whole pages of notes and sort of thinking out loud to myself. So Yeah, I want to be careful. I'm not saying Susanna is like not done. I'm just like, when I see that organization, I'm like, ooh, it's good. It's a good strategy to sort of help yourself organize your ideas as you go. I think, again, we talked about this week one, you know, I know Layla's not here, but we talked about it the first week with Layla. One big challenge for students when they're writing in their second or third or fourth language is we feel like and I'm saying for myself in Spanish too, we feel like, oh my God, like I can't start writing until I know exactly what it should look like. And I can't, you know, the first sentence, the first time I write this paragraph, it has to be perfect. Oh my God. I mean, it's a process, you know, it's a process. But all of your excellent questions about the organization of a summary and what it should look like, it makes perfect sense. And that's the lesson I've got for us today. So let's get started. I think Alina came in, just a few other people just wanted to say hi as you're coming in. But today is Thursday, May 6th. We've got Zoom today, Zoom next week, and then this long time in front of the computer screen is over, at least for me, because I'm not teaching in the summer. So here's what we are doing. We're going to spend most of our time talking about summarizing, but first I do want to show you the final exam and extra credit opportunity that I put in Canvas today. I'll show you that right now. Then we've got a warm-up activity, and we're going to be talking about summarizing and practicing summarizing all day today. So let's go into Canvas. I'm sure even though the word exam is in quotes, I can feel students' anxiety, their stress through the Zoom, but let me show you and take a breath, it's all good. So if you go to assignments, remember when it comes to final exams, just here's something I think I told you, but you may not know. The school, right? The school itself will tell teachers you must give a final exam, right? Sometimes like the school will say this type of class needs a final exam. Okay, this is one of those classes. It's my job to have some kind of final activity. So here's what this final activity is though, and hopefully you can feel some relief, and I'll tell you more about this. So again, if you click back on assignments, I was just there, but just to make sure people see where it is. And then if you click on up here, upcoming final reflection, and please notice that this is published in Canvas. It's there right now. You can do it anytime. The due date for this is before midnight, Sunday, May 16th. It's that day because that is the last day of instruction for the semester. On Monday, the 17th, final exams begin, but we're not doing a final exam on that day or at that time, right? So we're getting the final exam done before the end of the teaching ends for the semester. So due Sunday, May 16th by 11:59, 100 points. And here's where I explain what this is. The final exam for this class will be a personal reflection on your learning this semester. Please submit a document that answers the following 5 questions. I strongly encourage you to write at least 200 words per question, but if it's a little less, that is not a problem. So here are the questions. 1, what is something that you really enjoyed learning this semester? Why did you enjoy learning it? 2, what's something you wish we had learned more about? Why do you want to know more about this? How do you plan to learn about this in the future? 3, how has this class changed the way you think about reading and writing? If the answer is it hasn't, just explain why. That's fine. 4, how has this class changed the way you read? And how has this class changed the way you write? And again, as always, I will be totally honest with you. This is not like I will look at each answer and look at your grammar. Did you do it? Did you write about 200 words for each question? Did you submit it before midnight, May 16th? If the answer is yes, here's 100 points, okay? So it's not like I'm even grading this for A, B, or C. It's did you do it? If you do it, you get the points. Questions?
It is extra point?
No, this is 100 points. This is 100 points. Extra credit, I'll show you next.
Oh.
But again, do it and you get the points. So again, I always want to be careful here because sometimes students get nervous when I say like how long something should take. But in my opinion, You don't need to spend more than an hour on this. I really don't want students to say, Jeff, it took me 5 hours. It took me 10 hours. Oh my God, please save your, don't stress that much over me or this assignment. This is supposed to be hopefully a little bit fun, like a chance for you to think about the semester and just, you know me, I also love to make you guys write because I strongly believe just writing in English, even if it's not for a grade, makes you a better writer. So it's just a chance for me to make you write a little bit more and help you think about the class. Any other questions? So like I said, an hour, 2 hours max. My perfection. Don't you dare. Do not spend 10 hours on this. I will be very mad if you do. Your life and other work or whatever is much more important. This is not supposed to be a stress. It's supposed to be the opposite, because I could give you a final exam. That could be really stressful. Any other questions about the final reflection? Like I said, I hope you enjoy it. I strongly, strongly believe that this type of skill where you start to become aware of the way you learn, it'll change your life. It changes the way it really changes your brain. So that's the goal. That's the goal. Then, like Nadia was asking, there is also extra credit opportunity, even easier. So if you click the extra credit opportunity, it is also due before midnight, May 16th. And here are the instructions for this assignment. You can earn up to 20 points of extra credit. To do this, you need to video record yourself or audio record yourself answering the following questions. There's no minimum length of time or word count. All you need to do to get the extra credit is to answer the questions truthfully and thoughtfully. Question 1, how did this class compare to other online classes you took this semester? If you didn't take any other online classes, don't worry about it. You don't need to answer this question. 2, do you feel like you did more work or less work for this class than your other classes? 3, do you feel like you learned more, less, or the same as your other classes? 4, what were some of the benefits of having no or flexible due dates? And 5, what were some of the challenges of having no or flexible due dates? And I'll tell you, I'll show you how to do this, and then I'll tell you why though first. I have these 5 questions for 2 reasons. 1, when I listen to your answers, it helps me make this class better for the fall, right? Like we're gonna be all online for the fall again. So if there's a way for me to make this class better for students in the fall, I would love to learn from you guys and make it better for them. 2, even when we come back in person to campus, I think, my opinion now, there is going to be a lot of online class still available to students. And some of you might know, some teachers are still trying to do like in-person class, but online, right? It's like, excuse me, you must be at every class, you must stay for every class, you must turn the video, all those rules, right? And when I tell those teachers, oh, I only do one Zoom and I record it and there's no attendance and there's no due dates, sometimes those teachers think that I'm a crazy person. And when I am able to share students' experiences with them, it's really helpful to help other people understand how they can make classes better at ARC too. So the reason that I ask you to answer these 2 questions is not to test you or like make you tell me how great the class is. It's so that I can learn how to make this class better and so that I can explain to other teachers how this type of class works for you guys. That's why I've got these questions. Sudaba, I'm going to mute you real quick. Hi, Sudaba just says hi in the chat. So like I said, to record yourself for video or audio, if you don't want to do video, that's totally fine. But you click the submit assignment button where I just was in the left, and then you only get one option. You can't even upload a document. You just click record or upload media. And now I'm going to turn my camera off in Zoom. Hold on. Just so you see what it looks like. You can do all of this inside of Canvas. Hey, now you see the white wall behind me. So Canvas will show, you know, the audio is the blue bar and there's the video. If you just want to record audio, click webcam and then click, oh, first, hold on. And then click no video. and then it's just your audio, right? And click start recording. And whatever, okay, this class was totally different than other classes because blah, 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 whatever, whatever, here's my answer. And then you click finish. And then you click save. This is important. Click save. If it's audio or video, click save. And then it'll say ready to submit, and then click submit. That's it. So you can do everything inside of Canvas, audio or video. You don't need to do anything extra. All this stuff can happen inside of Canvas. And this is the same thing. If you do your best and answer the questions, you get 20 points of extra credit. That's it. Do it, get the points. Questions? Ooh, good. That's good. Great instructions, Jeff. You explained the instructions so clearly. Okay, so the final exam, the final reflection, and extra credit opportunity, Sunday, May 16th. That's it. Nothing else. Nada. And of course, if you have lessons to do or anything else to make up, that Sunday, May 16th is literally the last day of teaching for the semester. So whatever you submit in Canvas, it's got to be before midnight, or at midnight, May 16th. For real though, this is where I'll just, again, be honest with everybody here and the recording. If you turn something in May 17th, I'm not going to grade it because I'm not allowed to. And if I do, I will get in trouble, and I like my job and I want to keep my job. So if you submit it, I'll say it one more time very clearly. Anything on or after May 17th is not going to get graded. That's it. That sounded scarier than I want it to sound, but I just want to be clear with you guys, okay? Any questions before we talk about summarizing? I know, grade talk. Cool. That's it.
Excuse me, Professor, I was late. Just my question is that this one is our last assignment that we should submit it.
Yeah, like I said, the academic writing it's right here, right? As it shows in Canvas. This is it. And then if you're still missing assignments, okay, you can do those old assignments, but again, before May 17th, and these are the last three. That's it. And the extra credit is optional. So that's it.
The final. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If you missed the part about the final reflection, Sudaba, go back and watch the recording. I talk about it for about 5 or 6 minutes.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Anybody else before we move on? Let's go. All right, summarizing. So like I said, hopefully you're not too stressed about the final reflection or the extra credit. Easy. Like I said, 1 hour, 2 hours tops. But the final academic project, 300 points. Take that one seriously. So here's the activity. So I am going to put you in small groups just to talk about something, because it'll get you ready for the activity I have planned for us. So here's the warm up. Look at page 99 to 104 in Hyperfocus. I could say reread or review, or if you haven't read those pages yet, you should start reading. But look at page 99 to 104 and then talk to your group and answer the following questions. 1, what is the main idea of these pages? 2, how would you write a summary for this section of the book? What would you include and what would you keep out? What would you not put into your summary? Okay. So again, 1, what's the main idea of these pages? 2, how would you write a summary? What would you include and what would you keep out, not include? And I just want to tell you and be clear, this starts on page 99, starting at, speaking of headers, simplifying your environment. So about halfway on that page, right? In the middle of page 99, it says simplifying your environment. So start there and then continue to page 104. So reread, review that, and then talk to your group. What's the main idea? What would you put in your, if I ask you to summarize this, I'm not going to ask you, but we're going to look at some examples. What would you include in your summary? Make sense? Perfecto. I'm going to start the breakout rooms. Momentito, por favor. Great. All right. I'm going to open the rooms right now. All right. See you guys in a minute. Rafi, were you in room 1? Were you with Susanna? Oh, it's still connecting to the audio, actually. I can't hear you. I don't know what is going on with audio right now. But it doesn't say that you're muted. Oh, there we go. Were you in room one, Rafi?
Sorry, because just a moment.
Of course, yeah. Take your time. I'm sorry. I don't want to make things difficult.
Everything is okay?
Yes, it sounds
Okay.
good.
Because I changed my device. That's why.
No problem. What were you in room 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Susanna.
Perfect. I'll send you
Can I
right back.
go again?
Yeah, I'll send you right back. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'll bring everybody back in about 5 minutes. So I'll send you there now.
Sorry, Professor, how many pages should we read?
Yeah, it's right. It's this slide, 99, starting in the middle of the page, simplifying your environment.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got that. 204, you say?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring everybody back in just a minute here. Were you in room 3?
I was, yeah, I was in room 3.
Got it. Okay. I'm going to bring everybody back.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Professor.
Mr. Deva, we're coming back. I just closed the rooms.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back. If you feel like you wanted more time, don't worry. We're going to spend a lot more time with these pages and look at some examples. But whatever you got is great. I just wanted to make sure that you guys got to talk about it together before I show you the examples I've got. So like I said, I would love to hear from people, especially about question 2. I mean, hopefully question 1 was easy. What's the main idea? I mean, it's right there on page 99, right? This section is about simplifying your environment.
Yeah.
But I think, so hopefully that was easy. If you found it hard, I'm not laughing at you. But I think the real difficult question is when we're doing a summary is, well, what do I put in? What do I keep out? Okay, I'm not sure. So I'd love to hear from all 3 groups, just really briefly, some examples of stuff, things that you thought you would want to put in and things that you would want to keep out. So group 1, does somebody from group 1 want to tell me just a little bit? What'd you talk about? What would you keep in? What would you keep out?
It's like because we were not so familiar with the chapter,
Yeah.
we were kind of reading together and trying to organize kind of in a place to see like what it talks about, and basically we just like talking about like the key points, like for example, like simplifying the environment. Over here, like the Bailey talks about like the jelly bean being his distraction, and he's not focusing, like it's making him being distracted, and which is making it complicated. So um, uh, we were talking about that, like how it's giving like um, basically I don't know how to put it. So we just got the key points out. It's like we put like the intention, the attention, external environment, like that influences.
Yeah.
And what else? And we talked about the ways, like how to, the simplify it, which is like kind of shown on the page 103.
Got it. Great. Did you guys have time? So like I said, again, part of the way I organize this activity is so that people do have time to read and review. Do you feel like you had enough time to read these pages?
No.
No. Didn't even read it.
Okay. It's kind of not organized because like we had not enough time. So basically we were just like kind of analyzing and, the kind of talking about it, but, the writing or, just going kind of analyzing our thoughts, no.
Perfect. I want to hear from group 2. I'm asking here again, not because it's good or bad, but I'm going to show you some examples, but these examples won't be useful if you didn't read the thing that it's summarizing. I want to make sure that everybody at least got to read these pages, has some idea of what is in these pages. So group 2, did you have enough time to read the pages? Even if you don't feel comfortable with summarizing yet, how about who wants to talk to me from group 2? Or who's going to talk to me? I'll just stare at the little black squares. Don't make me start calling names, you guys. I know who was in group 2.
I don't know the number of my group.
Sudaba, you're in group 3. That's Mir, Nadia, Nasima, Sadaf, and Samira. Did you guys talk? Did you just read? What was going on? We're tired, Jeff. It's the end of the semester. We didn't think you'd say our names.
You think I'm not sure if I'm right, but is it gonna be right for this, like by modifying, the external environment?
Yes, that's definitely a big.
To kind of, to avoid keeping, any. To avoid having the distractions.
That's a big main idea for this section. Yes.
You have to modify your external environment.
Good. Susanna.
External factor.
She's like, I do that too. Maybe it's this thing that I think I'm saying.
Yeah, I just like try to kind of put myself here.
No,
Sorry.
it's all good. It's all good. Samira, did you were in group 2? Did you guys talk at all, or were you just reading? What was going on?
Yes, dear professor, or our group, we are everyone and read with themselves,
Good.
everyone. And just I wanna share in my read as I read my own. Yes, simplify our environment, and there's a Billy which Billy shared their experience about how to simplify as our environment and to keep our mind focusing and the something on. And it also there's a mention some of the example of how to simplify our environment and how to keep our environment at which is the healthiest or which is the unhealthiest. For example, there's a mention on the page 100. There's a mention an example of as the person mentioned he liked the food, eat food, but he realized that he eat much unhealthy food. But how to keep their environment to eat a healthy food? He put away every unhealthy food, keep out and put it in their and his refrigerator, vegetarians, and that is why when he opened the refrigerator door, and the vegetarian realized that is he must be eat the healthy food.
Yes.
That is the meanest that he simplified the environment, which is the healthiest.
Good.
And also he mentioned the external environment. External environment, it has affected our attention, and it make our focus distraction. For
Good.
example, when we stay at the coffee shop and someone has take out their phone, and maybe everyone has their own study life, and maybe their own style of setting of the coffee. Someone and need to put their phone ring on the base, and someone and need to study on put their phone on the ring. How to keep these all of the good example make us to understand to how to simplify our environment and to be a focus, not be a distraction or mind.
Really? Samira, Samira did a great job there. So if you guys were listening or watching the recording, very clear that you understood what you read, Samira. Fantastic. And I think Samira got both a little bit of main idea and some specific examples, which is the challenge, I think, for summarizing, right? Is like, okay, should I include some of the examples? How many examples? How much detail is too much detail? Should it just be an idea? I think that's very often the biggest challenge. And I chose this section of the book because I think it's an interesting and important idea he's writing about. But I think these pages also have a good balance of, there's some really specific details and examples, but then there's also some really sort of big ideas. And Samira, you did a great job sort of explaining both of those.
Thank you.
Really, really nice. How about group 3? I know you guys were tiny, but did you get to talk at all or anything to say before we look at these examples? I think there was only, I think Fatma was there. Fatma's not even here in class anymore. She left.
I think I was only the person in group 3.
Okay, Angela, do you want to answer question 2? What would you keep and what would you leave out?
Yeah, actually, I got a lot of things, like 5 many things in simplifying your environment. The 2 example was about the cleaning also, and keep away your phone. Like if you wanna do the environment, like simplifying your environment, you could keep your phone under the put someplace, unlock it, and use, instead of that, put a book on your table, and when you see the book, it forces you to read it, you know, instead of using the phone. And also to clean the environment or the placing you living. It's because if it's a lot of things around, it makes stressful. And just organize and cleaning. Also about the food, the healthy food, instead of the example, just instead of the junk food, just put a healthy food, a bowl of healthy food on your table. When
Yeah.
you see it, it encourage you to eat. Yeah.
Great, really nice. Again, great job. Angela did a lot of the things that Samira did really, really well there. Great, great, great. Okay, good. So I loved hearing people's ideas and responses. And again, even if you felt like you wanted more time reading, I totally understand. But I think just from listening to just a few of you guys, you looked at it enough that I think the examples will still be helpful, right? Because like I said, I was just worried if I show you an example summary of something you didn't read, like, how do you know if it's a good summary or not? You know what I mean? Like, because remember, the value of a summary is the grammar in the sentences correct? It's, did it summarize the main idea of the original article or the original reading? So I want to show you, I'm going to project it and I'll just let you guys read through it by myself. But here's the deal. I've got 3 examples. Example 1, example 2, and example 3. And what I want, the way I usually say this is, okay, imagine that one is an A and one is a B and one is a C. What grade would you give these? And we're going to go one at a time. Okay, so this first one, I'm going to project on the screen. I'll ask you to read through it here. And then I'll give you maybe 3 or 4 minutes to read silently. And then we'll talk about A, B, or C and why. Okay, so if I zoom out, can you guys still see? I'll scroll down in a second here. But is this too small? Is that okay? Can you read? Give me a thumbs up or yellow thumbs up or... Okay, I see Rafi's human hand, thumbs up. Susanna's human hand. Okay, and I see, okay, good. Okay, great. I'll leave it like this and then I'll scroll down in another minute or 2.
My level is higher than her. What do you think my level is?
So we just gotta look on it, right?
That's it. This is where this summary ends.
It's excellent. The field is excellent.
So let's talk about it.
I felt it's long.
Did I say set up? Did I hear set up or did I hear somebody else? So if do people need another minute or 2? I want to make sure people had time to read and then I want to talk about it. If you're done, can you give me thumbs up, yellow thumbs up or human hands? I see Rafi, I see Susanna.
Yeah.
Set up, I think set up's ready to talk.
I don't see. The-
I
Okay,
wanted to talk, but my internet connection was so bad. That's why I couldn't talk.
I got it. Okay, I'm sorry. So what do we get? What do we think? Let's just start really simple. A, B, or C, and why?
C.
C. Sadaf says C. Why?
So what I have read from the book, from the page 99 to 104, there was a lots of more lots of more important detail that a reader, if read a summary, we can put lot of things that was more juicy.
Ooh.
But she put a lot of, something like. Uh, she put most of her idea from the first pages 99 and 98 what Bailey said,
Mm.
but she didn't put a lot of example and the main idea of that.
Now, Sadaf, you're talking.
Clear for me, the main idea of that is not clear.
Okay. Please, I'm so sorry. When I can't see you guys, I get excited and I interrupt you. I'm so sorry. Please, I'll let you finish.
I just said the main idea was not so clear for me.
Got it. Great. Perfect. So, and Sadaf did exactly what I'd love for you guys to talk about, especially when you tell me A, B, or C, or whatever. This idea is really important. That's why I've been talking about it since the break ended, right? Is when summary is main ideas, not every specific detail. So Sadaf said, in her opinion, this has maybe too much detail or focuses on the wrong detail. So the main idea is not very clear. Okay. And again, remember, this is just our opinion. So you guys can agree, disagree with Sadaf. If you think it's an A, that is fine. This whole activity is about seeing examples, right? So anybody else, A, B, or C, or want to talk about examples and main ideas in this paragraph? What do we think?
Excuse me, could you show again B and C, please?
The other two?
Yes, please.
Yet. I will show you those. I haven't showed the other ones yet. I will show you. But first, let's just look at this one. Imagine that you just see this.
John, I'm so sorry. Maybe I just missed some part, but I don't get like what do you mean by saying A, B, or C?
Oh, I mean, grade. I'm showing you 3 essays,
I was
3
like-
examples, and I want you to imagine you're gonna give one of these summaries an A, one a B, and one a C. And so what would you give this one? An A, a B, or a C? Rafi's very smart and she wants to do process of elimination, which I respect, but I just want to get your feeling about this first example.
I feel this is too much information.
What information is too much?
Examples, we just need like, I feel like we just need like specific, like the main point. Like in this whole thing, if you take like 4 or 5 sentences, like combined together, we will just get the main point.
Good. What you're doing, again, excellent students in this class. So that's exactly the next question I wanted to ask. If we imagine that some of these sentences are really good and helpful for the main idea, and some of these sentences are maybe too much detail or talking about things that are not very important to the main idea. Susanna, what would be an example of a sentence that does have good main idea information in it?
Well, let's just start from the beginning. When it says on page 99 to 104 of his book, Hyperfocus, Chris Bailey argues that it is important to remove distraction from your environment, not the workplace.
Yeah.
I would not put the workplace, I would put the environment.
But you like that, you think this is a good sort of topic sentence to introduce the idea?
Yeah.
I think so too. I think so too. I think that this first sentence, this kind of is the idea, right? I think this is a nice topic sentence. It's connected to the main idea, even if it doesn't, if it doesn't include all of the most important information. I do think there's a clear focus in that topic sentence. Really nice. Okay, let's keep going. Anybody else, or I can make Susanna keep talking, but anybody else?
Yeah, I want.
Please, Nadia, what's an example of a sentence that has good main idea information?
I not for me.
Yes.
The words, just words, productively.
Okay,
distraction, focus, and effect.
there's
And
productivity.
remove everything that make distract.
We can, this section, remove everything that makes distractions. You said two other words, Nadia, productivity, distractions. What were the other two words?
That's a good sentence.
Effect and cleaner, clean,
Clean.
clean, cleaner.
Got you.
If
I got you.
we rewrite the sentence that you like highlighted, productivity and distraction, sentence you see it over there. If we rewrite it, also an important point. No, the up, or up, like distraction and productivity.
Yeah, up here.
Yes, that sentence, if we rewrite this.
This one.
Yes, if we rewrite this, it also contains like the one of the main points.
Good. Okay, so Susanna and Nadia were sort of saying this sentence. He explained that these novel cues affect our attention. This is an example of, Susanna's got some ideas to make the sentence maybe more clear, but the meaning, main idea. Do we agree, disagree? Anybody else? Okay, are there any, do you guys see any other examples of sentences with good main idea information?
Yes, when she said Billy suggests that people should remove
This.
Yes, until the TV. For example, personal cell phone or TV.
Got it. Okay, so Sadaf is saying also we should make this one yellow. I'm going to keep it empty for a second because we're gonna look at some other things. Susanna, you looks like you've got a question.
No, I was just looking to find like the main point over there because I'm not sure if I read that he just like says like.
Yeah, I think I will just say this section, I'm not going to highlight it all, but these sentences, these are interesting, right? To me, they're kind of in the middle, like it's close to, like, this is a good example of, well, you know, this is maybe not a perfect summary, but it's not like totally crazy either, you know? Okay, so now either anybody who just helped us out, Sadaf, Nadia, Rafi, Susanna, anybody, you can type in the chat, whatever you want. But how about some examples of sentences that we just think don't need to be in a summary? They're not important to the main idea.
Oh, okay. We should not talk.
No, please. I'm saying you guys feel free to, but I just, you know me, I always want to keep saying anybody. It doesn't have to just be the same 4 or 5 students. Everyone is welcome. But of course, you're also, you know, if you want to go, Susanna, go.
So you said like what is not important, right?
Yes, what's not necessary
like
for a good
whole
summary.
thing with the jelly beans and then like
Yeah.
story about
she wrote.
Yeah.
It does not provide any information related to hyperfocus. It's just an example. So anything it's related to that, I do not find important. That's why I said like a couple of sentences if we rearrange it and like rewrite it.
Got it. Okay.
In a way, so it can be like contain the point and, you know, stay in the right format. That's why like I think we can like change a couple of sentences. It's basically this whole thing we can just like squeeze it in 4 sentences and get like a really good summary.
Great. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So anybody, great. I love what Susanna was saying there, and I pretty much agree. But how about even, I just wanted us to see specific example sentences because I think this can really help students. Susanna says, anytime the word jelly bean is in there, it's not the main idea. Any other sentences in this second paragraph or this other little kind of shorty paragraph at the end?
Excuse me, is it the right way to summarize for the paragraph if we follow this suggestion?
Oh, at the end. So you're talking about the final paragraph at the end, Rafi?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think?
Because I think if we want to summarize the whole story or the whole particle, it's a good option. But when we want to summarize a specific paragraph, I think we can't say anything general.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rafi. I think it's okay. I honestly think, and I'll start to say a little bit of the answers here. I think the biggest problem with the final paragraph is we remember academic writing. We don't use we. We don't talk, we don't say you. He does in the book because it's a different style of book. But remember, academic writing is not if you do this, if we do that, da 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 da. Remember, that's one thing. And then I think the other problem with the final paragraph here is autopilot mode. Autopilot mode is important in the book, but it's not at all a part of these pages, right? So this is another thing that students sometimes do, especially good students, right? I read the book, I understand the main ideas, but remember, summarizing a page or a chapter, that just, you don't have to talk about other ideas that aren't in those pages, right? I think sometimes students get nervous, like, oh my God, I need to show the teacher that I understand. But if another teacher asks you to summarize, one page or even one story, you don't need to talk about other stories. Do you know what I mean? Like, keep it focused on the ideas that are just on that page. So I think that's the biggest problem is, because this last sentence is talking about autopilot mode, it doesn't feel important to the main idea, even though it's not wrong. The information in that sentence is still good information. And that's why I like this example, because it's not like there's bad ideas in here. There's just some things that don't make it a really 100% effective summary. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want to make sure we have time to get all of them. So if we finish all three, we can keep looking at specific examples. But what do you guys think then? A, B, or C?
C.
Susanna says C. Anybody else want to guess?
B.
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 Plus, I'm generous. Wait. Look at the next. We'll look at the next one. Okay, let's look at the next one. And the activity that we just did with this first one is what we're going to do with the next two, just so now you kind of get an idea of what we're doing. So here's the next one.
Biggest. Can you make biggest?
I'm working.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have bad eyes too, yeah.
Oh.
I need new glasses after so much Zoom. Okay, I'll stop.
Oh, this paper is a C. I'm sorry. I'm confused. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'm not even gonna read this.
What is this?
So now this is mad.
Is it real or just for fun?
Oh, I've seen many things. I have seen many things in my time teaching, Rafi.
Okay.
And I will say, this is, yeah, it sounds like we already kind of know here, right? This is maybe not even a C. This is not really passing. But I will say, one good thing I can say is, I do think the main idea is kind of in here.
It is.
Where's the main idea in this example?
It is important to get rid of distractions because they prevent us from doing work we need to do.
Right. Now, again, as a teacher, this is what makes life difficult. Again, not a big problem, but it's like, okay, when I see an example like this, I go, okay, the student read it. The student understood it. They really did understand what they read. But that's about as much as you could say, you know what I mean? Because so let's talk. We don't need to be again. This is not from a student in this classroom. So
that's why I just ask you the question about I'm putting the summary together. It's like I feel like it's too long.
Yes.
There is a 400 word requirement. I'm not sure if do I need to separate them, or that's why I got confused. I was like, there is a main point, but it's kind of doesn't
yes
for me. That's why I'm getting confused.
Yes, and even in this first one, again, you see this is not perfectly organized, this first one, but it's still, there's still some things that are pretty good in here. So like Sudaba's example, I think Susanna was saying it too. I'm not Sudaba, excuse me, too much coffee. Sadaf, this whole section here for where they're summarizing the list that's on page 103, right? Now, I don't think like, so this student didn't really summarize it perfectly, but they did try to put it in, you know, they tried to keep it like sentences and connect the ideas that are on that list on page 103 into a paragraph. I just like to show students this example because this, remember, I said in the paraphrase, you can do bullet points, you can do lists in the paraphrase, that's fine. But for paraphrasing, I'm gonna force you to practice taking ideas that if you read a list, if you read anything, I still want you to put it in a paragraph format, okay? So this, where the student clearly read and understood the list on page 103, but then just put it like a bullet point or a list, we don't wanna do this, or I don't want you guys to do this when you're summarizing. I want you to try writing paragraphs, even if your paragraphs look a little bit, you know, this is a little bit different, right? Like we've got kind of like a medium paragraph here, a regular size paragraph, and then this little shorty at the end. Okay, this isn't perfect, but it's the right structure, right? You're going in the right direction. Do you know what I'm saying? And this one, you know, I don't just want a list. The other thing that really stood out again, jelly beans, all this stuff is detail, right? Now, again, we could say the sentence, there's problems, there's other problems, but remember, we're just talking about the information that is in the example, okay? And this, when I see something like this, I'll just tell you, again, I'll say it one more time. Clearly they read and understood the main idea. But when I see something like this, a list, and then like also keep it clean, I'm just like, oh, this is what students write when they're tired. So if you're just like so tired and you don't want to do it anymore, you're like, who cares? I'm just going to poop out this sentence. This is what you get, right? Like, and again, so like I said, this example, yeah, other teachers might not even say this is a C and might just say it's a D. And I understand. I think there's some major problems. But for me, I still think it's important to recognize they got the main idea. They just didn't know how to explain that main idea in their own writing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other ideas or questions about this one?
If I was a teacher,
Set
I
up.
would have F grade for this.
Oh, but remember, I think I don't disagree, but here's, and just again, you guys, yeah, I mean, it's been 4 months almost now. You guys kind of know how I do things.
I would just not grade. I would just give it to her and tell her to rewrite it.
But that I will say something now.
Better than putting an F, you know.
That's
I would like her to
that's the thing. When
work
I
on
see an essay like this, I agree. I agree with you, Sadaf. I'm like, dang, this is not successful. But then Susanna's point is like, but then I feel like my job is to teach, not to give grades. So when I see something like this, I look at it and I go, oh my God, how am I going to help this student?
This is the reason.
It's hard. And then again, like I said, no one should feel bad for me. I'm a lucky man. But it's hard as a teacher. It's like, oh, how am I going to help this student? You know, like what? And I think, you know, just time and practice and examples. But so I agree, Sadaf. I think this is not successful. But again, as a teacher, it's like, okay, well, what did they do well? Where how can we start there? And how can they improve? It's hard because if it's hard for me to teach, I know it's hard for them to sit down and try and do it, you know? So I don't disagree, Sadaf. You know, I don't disagree. Major, what would I say? What some of the things I say to students when I'm being nice, there are major issues with this. Okay, next example.
I like this.
Oh, there's a typo that I didn't fix for this student. Hold on, sorry. And usually these examples, you guys, I've kind of cleaned up the grammar. So that's why I don't want you guys to even think about grammar with these examples, so.
It's a pretty strong paper, but there is a couple of things I'm not sure and I wanted to ask.
Cool. I love it. We ready? Did we finish? I know Susanna's ready, but if you're done, give me thumbs up, either human hand or yellow hand. Rafi's done. I think people are still reading. How about we'll do 2 more minutes, 2 more minutes. So save your ideas, Susanna, then you're up.
Mhm.
I think it's very strong.
Mhm.
I agree.
I like to argue because I used to use that.
Sudava says thumbs up. Again, this is already in Canvas, you guys, this document. And I always tell students this example, like Susanna was saying, the verbs, these are like classic academic writing verbs, right? He argues, he suggests, he proves. There's a lot of good examples of, I'll go ahead and underline them here because they're just, when you're writing summaries, and this is true for this class, 340, I mean, there's like this classic list of verbs that students use in academic writing. So argues, describes,
Suggest
where's suggests?
all the way.
All the way down. Yeah, suggests. Gives is okay. Gives is fine. Gives works in this encourages. Notes vary. I don't know what this student might, maybe I gave the suggestion. Notes just means says, you know what I mean? But it's just another sort of fancy academic way of saying, then the author noted, he said, he described, these are all sort of synonyms for the verb say, right? But these are the sort of academic reporting verbs that people use a lot in this type of writing. Oh, and then we get suggests again. Yeah, Rafi.
Excuse me. Normally, when we can say argue, because I thought maybe when we use argue, there is 2 people, then they are not fighting, but they don't have the same idea about the subject.
Yeah, I think you're right. Go ahead, I'm so sorry.
But here, everybody agree with the author.
Interesting. Okay, I'd say 2 things. Actually, I think just one thing. In this type of writing, it's better to, instead of thinking about an argument like between 2 people, think about it as the difference if an author is writing a book where the author is just describing something, right? The author is just like, here are the facts, right? Here's some information. That you could say the author says, describes, reports, whatever. If the author is sort of giving their opinion, even if they're not arguing with someone else, you can say, what else would I list? Another classic verb like that is claims. Like we have these words that are sort of like a difference between just saying the author describes versus, hey, the author has an opinion or an idea and they want the reader to agree with that idea or understand the idea. So it's kind of like the difference between opinion and description, if that makes some sense, Rafi.
Yeah.
Because and in hyperfocus, he does kind of do both, right? Like on page 99 or 100, excuse me, on page 100, he does, as this student notes, right? This scientific study, when he's talking about the scientific study on page 100, he is just describing it, right? He says there was a study, people had their cell phones, they looked at it every 3 to 5 minutes. That would be a type of thing where you'd say Bailey describes.
Yeah.
But if we get to on page 103, his suggestions, right, where he's sort of saying like do this, then it's more like his opinion or his own idea.
Yeah.
So he can say he offers, he suggests, he argues, he whatever.
Okay, thank you.
Great question, Rafi. Great question. Yeah. Okay, what else do we, so this is a successful, yeah, Suzanne is saying go ahead. What do we like? What do we notice? What stands out? What should we talk about? So we talked about the reporting verbs. Great. Please.
You
Suzanne.
really like the format.
Okay.
I like that students use the word argue. It just like gives a strong, the impression, like it kind of proves like what the books talks about, and like everything is in a pretty nice and organized set. So I don't see in the first paragraph, I don't see anything that I feel like it's like
A problem.
not there.
Good.
So
I could ask
gives the supports the idea and explains like the meaning.
Yeah.
Gives a suggestion.
Yeah.
So I really like the first paragraph. However, I'm not sure. There is a couple of things in the second paragraph, and I'm not sure. And I did the same thing. That's why I want to ask this question.
Suzanne is ready. Yeah. Okay. First, though, let's stick with the first paragraph. So I agree, right? In the very beginning, we've got the main idea right away. And again, like we said for the first example here, right? Very right. I mean, like, I think I've said this before. If not, I'll say it again. I'll say it right now. When it comes to a short summary, like 200, 300, 400 words, put the main idea just as the first topic sentence. You know what I mean? Like tell the reader, or since we're in a class for a grade, tell your teacher, hey, I know what the main idea is, and I'm just going to put it out there right now. And think about this if you're writing at work or anything that's not school even, right? For a grade. If you want to communicate an idea in a short and clear way to a friend or family member, just put it right at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like just say it right at the beginning. So I think in this first sentence here, we get the main idea, right? Now, I wanted to ask people about this second sentence, what you think, what you notice. So then we do get a little bit of an example. Now, this might be something that's closer to a detail than a main idea, but what did you guys think about this sentence? So to support his argument, he describes a scientific study which showed that novel cues like cell phones distract people's attention even when the person was not actively using it. What did you think? Is this an effective use of an example or a detail from the chapter? What do you guys think about this sentence?
I think it's okay.
You like it? Nadia likes it.
Yeah, it look like as some summarize.
Yeah.
Summarize an idea and the detail, some
Good.
detail.
Good. I love it. I think you're right, Nadia, because even though this person included a sort of detail from the original in their writing, they did that's like a chapter or excuse me, that's a paragraph on page 100, right? And this person really kind of did it really short and fast and connected that example back to the main idea, right? To support his argument. It's sort of saying, hey, this cell phone example that I'm just going to write about in one short sentence, is important to the main idea of distractions, right? And getting rid of distractions. Mm-hmm. So I think, again, the second example, right? This ineffective summary. I just want to say really clearly, people watching the recording, right? All this stuff in the sort of unsuccessful example, That's in there, right? The jelly beans are in there. So the problem with this summary isn't that it's got wrong or incorrect information. It's just that this person put the less important information in their summary. Do you know what I mean? Like this chapter is not about jelly beans. Even though there are jelly beans in it, it's not about the jelly beans. So I'd say even though this chapter is not about this study, this still works because the student keeps it very short and always connects it back to the main idea, right? And this is tricky. So I'm not expecting everybody to be able to do this, but if you're looking and you're thinking, ooh, should I include this example? Like how much detail do I need? I like this example because it's one sentence, right? It's not like we get 3 or 4 sentences about the study and what was going on and how, whether people are holding the phone or it's on the table. There's all this detail on that page that the writer didn't include and really just tries to make sure it's relevant and important for the main idea. So I like this example. Yeah, it's an example of including some detail, but not too much. That's why I like it. That's why I like it. Anybody else have ideas about the first paragraph? Because Susanna's ready to talk about the second paragraph. Any other ideas about the first paragraph?
So I have one question.
Please.
Is that okay if we put the number of books on the summary?
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, great question, Sadaf. That's a great question. Does this student need to put this page? Is it a paraphrase? Is it really a citation? That's a really good question. This student just wanted to practice MLA formatting to get ready for next semester, but you don't have to. So for this class, Sadaf, the answer is no, you don't need to. Eventually, if you're writing a 5-page research paper for an ECE class or a nursing class, and if you're talking about ideas that are totally from some other source, eventually you'll probably start to practice doing citations like this, right? And it's really easy, really, because all you need is last name and page number. That's all you need. So again, I've showed you MLA and talked about it a little bit, but I haven't forced you to practice it. So if you wanted to practice, you can set up just last name and page number. You can if you want to. But I think in W340, you have to. So.
Okay, thank you.
Great question, Sadaf. The last thing I want to say then about this paragraph is notice this paragraph is all about what distractions are and how they hurt productivity, right? That's what this author is doing in the first paragraph. And then there's this nice transition, and paragraph number 2 is all about that list on 103, right? So this whole paragraph is about what distractions are and why they're important. This paragraph is about how to get rid of distractions. So Susanna, when you were saying, oh, I like the organization or the structure of the summary, I think one reason that it just feels good when we read it is that's where the author chose to put a break, right? Is, okay, this first paragraph is about sort of, let's say, main idea number 1, and the paragraph is about main idea number 2. And I think that gives it this nice, clear feeling about the relationship between those two ideas. So that's the last thing I wanted to point out about paragraph number 1. I think, and again, that's a skill that takes time and practice. So again, I don't want people to feel like, oh my God, I didn't even notice that, or I don't know how to do that. That's fine. Just, I hope that you can notice it and look at the example. It's in Canvas for you to have and, keep forever. But just notice it when you see an example like this, because I think it's another reason, like Susanna was saying, the structure is really nice. It flows really nicely and helps the reader understand the ideas really nicely. Yeah. Great. So how about paragraph 2? Susanna, what did you see? What do you like? What do you not like? What questions do you have? Maybe I'll just zoom in even more on paragraph 2.
I like the second paragraph as well, but
Okay.
I am not sure for the part that when it says first, he encourages people to review their office or home for any potential distraction, including smartphones, tablets, and TV. Once people are aware of the objects that distract them from their meaningful work, they should move these objects as soon as possible. So it's gonna start first and their environment. So the next, and then people can introduce more helpful cues into their environment. So this
No, no worry.
Sorry, go ahead, Susanna.
is it. I don't feel like it is necessary to be there.
It's tricky. This one is tricky. This one is
Yeah,
tricky.
it's basically this is supporting the first,
For sure.
the sentence,
I agree.
and the sentence is supporting the first paragraph. So this is it's like feels like this is an extra. If we take this part off and continue Bailey notes that studies have shown that plants have a calming effect on people and may increase productivity. Finally, he suggests blah 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 blah. So
I love it. Okay, I love that. I love that. Does anybody?
If you include it,
yeah, I want to talk about this. But first, I want to hear from.
And if you're not include this, is it right? So that thing that it's kind of making me confused.
Of course, I'm going to tell you. But first, does anybody else have ideas about Susanna's questions or anything else you see in the second paragraph? Because Susanna's question is exactly the thing I want to talk about. So, but does anybody else notice anything else in this paragraph?
I think yes, she is right because in first paragraph she talked about phone and tablets.
Yeah.
In second paragraph she just repeated again.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. Sadat, really smart there, Sadat. Sadat's thinking about, okay, if I already introduce examples of distractions, do I need the same examples later? I love that idea, Sadat. That's great. Anybody else? Okay, here's my question then for anybody who wants to answer it. To answer Susanna's question, I want to look at this sentence and I'll read it. After making this argument, Bailey gives specific examples of the productive cues that he uses in his own office and then provides the reader with a list of things they can do to make their own space productive. Now, well, first, what do we think about this as a topic sentence for this paragraph? Because this is a little bit of I guess, let me ask this and then I'll just start talking. Does anything stand out to you as different or interesting or unique about this topic sentence?
I think if the writer didn't write examples in the first paragraph, and with this first sentence, the examples are good in this side. It's excellent in this side. If we remove from the first paragraph.
Okay, so Sudab was sort of talking about, like Sadaf, should we repeat the same examples? How much? What should we put in the first paragraph? What should we put in the second paragraph? Suzanne, I see your hand.
Because she's not repeating with this first paragraph because there is the important part over here when it says list of 3 things. So the 3 things, in my understanding, it's on page 103, and it's
I think so too.
Of a distraction around you, distance yourself, and introduce more productive cues. So this is, in my opinion, it contains like important detail in it.
I think Susanna's right. I think this paragraph is basically summarizing page 103. I really think that's the idea. And that's why I keep looking at the topic sentence. Like the topic sentence for this first paragraph is really sort of a little bit different than the first paragraph, right? Because the first paragraph is a really nice summary, 1-sentence summary of the main idea of this chapter, right? Now, this topic sentence for the second paragraph is more like the writer is telling the reader not just what is inside the chapter, not just the ideas that the author wrote down. This example is telling the reader what the author did in the chapter, or how the author organized the chapter, which is a little bit of a different thing or idea to explain. And it's difficult. It's really difficult, because now this is why I've talked about critical reading and reading strategies so much, right? If you just start with, did I understand the words that I read? That's really important. But for college reading and writing, you've got to go to the next step, right? Which is ask yourself, what is the author, if I'm reading Hyperfocus, right? What is Chris Bailey doing? Why did he organize the book this way? Why does he start with distractions and then end this section with a list of 3 suggestions, right? Because they are 2 different things, right? Saying, hey, distractions in your workspace or your environment, distractions in your environment slow you down. That's one, thing an author can say. And then though, he says, and here's some ways to get distractions out of your environment. Those aren't 2 really different main ideas, but they are 2 different sort of objectives or goals that the author had when they wrote the chapter, right? Now, again, the thing I'm saying here is very much critical reading, critical thinking. We've spent 4 months, but if you're just starting to think this way, it's a big and different thing, right? But so even if you are like, okay, I kind of get what Jeff's saying, that's totally fine. But I want you to see it, because as you keep taking classes, it's really, really, really important that you not just understand the meaning of each individual word, but you start to see like a puzzle almost, right? Like the way that the author that you're reading organized the information. So I think even though this second paragraph is not perfect in terms of summarizing, I think it's a huge skill that this topic sentence is sort of telling me as the teacher, right? Hey, I saw what Chris Bailey was doing, right? I saw that first he defined a distraction, then he offered solutions, and then this writer tried to summarize what those solutions were, right? Now, again, is it perfect? Can we find some things to make better? 100%, but I still think the author did a great job practicing that skill. And Rafi, I see your hand.
Excuse me, I have a question. I think the who did the summary, I think he or she did great, because I think, in my opinion, he or she thought maybe page 99 and page 103 is the most important pages in this section, and that's why she mentioned it. And I think his organization is very great, and he I think the summarize is very good. I didn't understand why the second paragraph is not enough.
No, the second paragraph, it's really good, but like it just, in my opinion, it just like contains like the information that it's like repeated. It's like it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, it's
you can
like
have it there. It's not the thing. Like that's why I was like saying like I'm sure and I'm not sure.
Yeah. And again, at a certain point, we do sort of get into the difference between like just personal preference and style. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, this is the only reason that I ever, how can I say this? Sometimes I don't like to show examples, because then students will see them and go, oh, that's the only way to write an A summary. That's the only way to write a summary that gets an A. But of course, that's not true, right? Like every writer has different style. Every teacher has a different preference. So, even if Susanna's like, ooh, there's some things I like about this, there's some things I don't, I would do it different. That is totally fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, really, it's at the end of the day, it's your education. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to figure out the things that you like the way you like to write, the things that the strong skills that you have. So I think just for me personally, I'm a little bit more like Rafi. When I read this, I thought, I don't really have too much to say, like, great job. But I totally understand. Like, I think some students and some teachers really don't like details or don't like examples in summaries. And I understand, I totally get that. But for me, when they are used effectively, I think it can work. So I agree with Rafi and Susanna. I'm not trying to be wishy-washy or indecisive, but I really do agree with both of you. I really do.
am very like, I'm asking this question because I wanted to make sure that I am doing good in not the way in the class, like the language, the skill wise, because, in my life, I will need this
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
will.
So this is something that's like a permanent thing, and it is important for me to know, is it like important to have that over there if you do it, or is it like not? The way she wrote it, it's really good. I
Yeah.
really like it, and I said it, but I was like, because I'm doing the same thing. That's why I'm doing the exact same thing, whatever like the writer did. But for me, I want to know like if it's right or if it's not, because honestly, I was sitting there yesterday till 2:30 a.m.
Uf, vale madre.
wondering like, should I put this or should I not, because
Yeah.
it's making a sense, and it doesn't make like a sense because I know like the summarizing, like, I have that like the box, the summary, it's gotta be this way, and like you cannot get out of those boundaries. So
Totally.
it is very important to know like if
Two,
this is
two
out
things,
of
two-part answer. This first sentence is more important than
yes,
this. Do you know what I
yes,
mean? Like, this to me, I need this. I need to know that the student understood that after explaining what distractions are, Chris
Mhm.
Bailey gave suggestions. That is important, right? That is more important. And in general, especially at work, right? Especially in work situations, emails, reports, whatever. I think the best rule is keep it short, right? Keep it short. So in general, if you don't need it, especially at work, don't put it. But I also want to be clear here. School is different, right? School is different than work. So in real life, right? Like, keep it short, especially if it's an email. Oh my God, no one likes long email at work, right? Or long reports. You know what I mean? Like,
That's why I was like, this first sentence, it's very important because it contains the main idea.
it's clear by itself. I agree. Like, my brother works for the state of California. He works for mental health services. He's got to write report. He talks to clients. He talks to people. He's got to write tons of reports, right? So in that case, keep it short. But the other thing I'll say is, if you do, since so many of you are going to keep going and want to get degrees, okay, now though, imagine that instead of Jeff asking you to write 400 words, now you've got like a 6-page paper and you need to write whatever, 2,000 words. Okay, in that case, if you need to make it longer, I think in that case, being strategic with examples and not, I think there's a place for this type of paragraph number 2 with the details, especially in academic situations, right? But in real life, the shorter the better. And above all, like Susanna was already pointing out, and like I said one time, the first topic sentence to me is the most important thing. Like, when I see that, hey, Nadia's got some help. Oh, I want a hug.
It's my little.
Litla, is that granddaughter or is that her name?
Yeah, granddaughter.
Hi, Litla.
Little. She's first grade.
Oh, she looks tired. I'm tired too. First grade, oh my gosh. So 6 or 7?
I want to ask, I want to say about this first sentence and
Nadia, what do you think?
second paragraph.
Yeah.
You say about shorter. It can be shorter. I write the Barley or author advise how to make their space more productively, more productive.
Bailey advises how to make your space more productive. Yeah, that's a short sentence, but I still think that's got the same meaning that's important from the example, right? It's like, okay, paragraph 1, Bailey says distractions in your environment are bad. Then paragraph 2, like you said, Nadia, and then he tells you how to get rid of distractions. That's great. I think that's what I mean, Nadia. That your sentence, the meaning in your sentence, that's what I want to make sure, no matter what you guys put in your summaries, whether you like it short or whether you add a little bit more detail, right? So I think that's the most important idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love it. Anything else? Any other ideas or questions about this example? This is the A, obviously. You know, this is the one that's an example of an A summary. Any other ideas or questions about this example?
Can I ask a question not about this example?
Oh yeah, okay.
What is the difference between header and the title?
What is the difference between a header and a title?
Yeah, because you said we can put the title. What is the difference between the title and the header?
The title, I guess, let's keep it simple. The title is at the very beginning of the book, and it's the very beginning of a chapter. If it's something after the chap, like each chapter in this book has a title, right? Chapter 6, Taming Your Distractions. That's the title for that chapter. Hyperfocus, that's the title of that book, right? Okay. If something happens, if you see anything after that title at the very beginning, then that's a subtitle or subheader or header. Again, you might see different words for this, but if it comes after, title means beginning. After that, call it a header, call it a subtitle, call it a subheader, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So for our writing, there isn't any difference between, okay. Thank you.
Your title, like for your project, the title could just be academic writing project, because that's what I called it. And then everything after that at the very top of the page, then that's a title, subheader or whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. The how do I organize my essay type of question. I love it. Other questions or ideas? Good to see examples. Was this helpful?
Yeah.
Good. I'll show you in Canvas. Like I said, I'll put everything, the recording and stuff as usual, but if you go to live support materials and just click here, this document is already on today's subtitle. Like here's the title, here's the header. So under the header for today, you could just download the document, review it. It's there for you. You know, I really hope it helps you as you're thinking about finishing up the project. So I know we're not really too early, but that's all I've got for today. So if that's it, no more questions, I'm ready. I gotta go to office hours, but we can finish up. Any other questions? If not, I'll stop recording right now. 3, 2, 1. All right. I'll stop the recording and I'll hang out for another minute.
Now
I share my screen.
Yeah, Nadia, you want to share your screen?
Yeah, or I start to write final.